I know my content's been a little less spicy lately because I haven't made it onto LinkedIn Lunatics in months. I blame lack of time. Once upon a time I was on there up every few weeks, being roasted by an anonymous army of Reddit keyboard warriors. But not lately. Tragic, really. Wait, so you're proud of being on LinkedIn Lunatics? Hey everyone, Noble Xenon here, and you already know which subreddit we're on, so let's get started. So, nobody. LinkedIn influencers. Yesterday I was walking to an interview. There was a starving dog on the road. I stopped to feed him and missed the interview. The next day I got a call asking to come in to do the interview. I was surprised, but I went. Then the interview came in. He was the dog. Yeah, that is pretty much how these LinkedIn lunatics post. Nailed it. For this next one, nothing screams freedom like the freedom to fire people on the 4th of July. Chose July 4th to terminate 5 underperforming employees because in the fast-moving world of AI, you can't afford to waste a Friday. Gave them an American flag pin to befit the occasion, and told them by the way of encouragement, it's Independence Day. Make this a revolutionary day in your career. Congratulations, you're fired. While this one may be satire, we have seen time and time again that there are companies out there laying people off just like that, and claiming it's a good thing for their careers. Alright, enough with the satire, let's get back to the actual lunatics. This one doesn't understand how business works. OpenAI just locked me out of image generation for 30 days because I hit my free limit. 30 days? Let me get this straight. Record inflation crushing entrepreneurs, employment crunches and stagnant wages for decades, young entrepreneurs bootstrapping with zero capital, and now AI companies are gatekeeping innovation behind paywalls. This is the corporatization of AI in real time. We're watching tools that could democratize innovation get locked behind subscription walls. The same technology that could level the playing field is being weaponized to create new barriers. And you're surprised because? You're complaining that companies want to make a profit, when that's literally their goal. The only reason these AI tools were free or very cheap at first was to get people hooked on their tools. Anyway, and the only reason I've used so many generations is because they don't produce accurate results. They're literally charging us for the future. So if the AI isn't producing accurate results, and it's getting way too expensive, then perhaps you should hire an actual human artist? They go on to say AI should be a public utility, not a luxury good. When technology gets commodified, only the wealthy get to innovate. This is why we're building AIE, to ensure AI serves everyone, not just those who can afford premium subscriptions. The future of innovation shouldn't depend on your credit. And he calls himself a philosopher CEO, yet is surprised by business people doing business things. This next one's titled, Interesting Perspective, thanks for sharing. Do you drink tea? Important announcement, tea is more dangerous than beer. Please avoid drinking tea. I discovered this last night. I had 14 beers till 3 a.m. at the pub while my wife was just drinking tea at home. You should have seen how violent and angry she was when I got home. I was peaceful, silent, and headed to bed as she shouted at me all night and even into the next morning. Haha, wife bad, get it? Yeah, what is this Facebook-style boomer humor doing here on LinkedIn? For this next one, LinkedIn top voice equals Nobel Prize. From an MIT-trained LinkedIn branding coach, I get many inquiries from people wanting my help to get a LinkedIn Top Voice badge. My answer is, you don't aspire to an Oscar or a Nobel Prize. You aspire to make films that touch people's hearts and discover new knowledge that fundamentally changes our understanding of the world. And that, my friend, is how you get an Oscar or a Nobel Prize. Except the LinkedIn badge is nowhere near that level. And now thanks for sharing this? Wait, why are you sharing this? I microwave my salad. What a start. I have sensitive teeth, so when my salad comes straight from the fridge, it's just too cold to enjoy, so I give it a 15-second zap in the microwave. There has to be a better way, right? Microwaving salad just sounds strange. This is probably the first time I've shared this little secret, but even my most senior executive clients have shared similar tiny admissions, things that just make everything flow a bit smoother, like taking a 15-minute power nap mid-afternoon, standing during meetings to boost alertness, using a fidget toy discreetly during brainstorming sessions, wearing comfy shoes shoes under formal attire, using a fun pink pen for taking notes in mundane meetings, taking mini dance breaks to shake off the stress. But none of those are microwaving a damn salad. What small, maybe quirky habits help you get your best work done? Hashtag executive coaching, hashtag work habits, hashtag productivity tips, and get this, hashtag lettuce be honest. Yes, as in the lettuce in a salad. I don't think that hashtag worked as well as you thought it would. And John Green Inc. says, I rub sandpaper over my eyeballs to stay alert in the office. What? You know you're in for a good one when the title is just a facepalm. Would you let your partner sleep with someone else for a large exchange of money? Indecent proposal style? And if so, why? How much would it have to be? I'm curious how much weight physical intimacy carries. If you knew you'd get $1 billion for it, would you do it? What about $10 million? What about $1,000? So curious what folks think about this. Our relationship with our bodies and physical intimacy is so fascinating. Let me know in the comments below. Ma'am, this is LinkedIn! What are we doing? Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? And now look at me, I work on my day off. Chris Evans, no not that Chris Evans, says today is the first Friday of the month, or FFOTM, pronounced FIFOTM, internally. Well, safe to say this one is not catching on, it's staying internal. That means the whole company gets a day off. For me, that means I get to walk my sons to school, then hang out in my local coffee shop whilst I catch up on all the things I want to do but never have the time for. Today, me and my mate Claude are cooking up something pretty epic to improve how we demo Incident.io. Criticize vibe coding all you like, but the speed at which I've gone from idea to fully working prototype is unreal. It genuinely feels like pair coding, where the other person is doing all the work, doesn't complain, and keeps working when I go to reorder another flat white. And by the way, Claude is not a person, it's an AI. That's why this so-called other person is doing all the work. Calling an AI your mate is honestly kinda sad. For this next one, your wife is dead, that 9 a.m. meeting will fix you. Work has saved more people than therapy ever could, especially in this part of the world. Alright, already off to an insane start, but let's keep reading. I remember an ex-colleague. He had just lost his wife, a young child to care for, no time to pause, no space to grieve, and yet every morning he'd show up to work, well-dressed, first to log in, last to log off, always present, always performing. It was only when I was leaving that he confided in me, work is my escape. If I stop, I'll collapse. I've known a cashier during my stint at a bank who was battling cancer, showing up to work with his chemotherapy port hidden under a crisp shirt, a CTO of a private bank whose son was in the ICU, and still attended architecture review board meetings like clockwork, an ex-colleague with a liver disease not resting but actively job hunting, and countless others nursing heartbreaks, navigating messy divorces, or mourning quietly yet showing up to work like warriors in disguise. Have you considered that maybe it's because they can't afford to stop working? You see, work gives people something therapy sometimes doesn't. A routine, a reason, a mask, although it sounds more like they're coping and less like they're truly healing. Because if not, then what? Not everyone has the language for therapy, not everyone is ready to sit in silence and quote heal. Some people heal better in motion, through deliverables, decisions, and to-do lists. These people aren't healing, they're struggling, and it sounds like these companies are exploiting that for profit. Guys, my boss found this post insightful. Am I cooked? Well, I think you're gonna have to go job hunting soon. That's all I'll say. For this next one, just wanted you to know I paid $3,000 a night. Also, here's a pic of me on the toilet. What? Happy 4th of July, everyone. I'm at a big Verbo with my family this week. Beautiful place, marble floors, gorgeous views. But then I walked into the bathroom and saw single-ply toilet paper. You could see your hand through it. This place costs $3,000 a night. It got me thinking in business and hospitality. The smallest details can say the loudest things. You can create a premium experience, but if one part of it feels cheap or overlooked, that's what people remember. Customers don't always judge your business by the big flashy stuff. Sometimes it's the packaging, the tone of your email, the way your product is delivered, or the toilet paper equivalent for your brand. If you're charging premium prices, make sure everything supports that story, even the little things. Happy 4th, may your brand always feel 3-ply. Honestly, the business advice here is not too bad. If your customers are gonna pay that much, then you better not cheap out on things just to squeeze out a few extra pennies, cause that's gonna hurt you in the long term. But did you really have to flex that $3,000 a night place to make that point? OMG, I love this 5-year-old already. When I was in 6th grade, my school had us take a career assessment too, and it gets cut off, but I guess the real point of the post is this. Pilot, to my 5-year-old daughter a few days ago, do you know you could be a flight attendant when you grow up? 5-year-old daughter, I could also own the plane. Or you could dream even bigger and own an entire airline. Time for some hashtag LinkedIn motivation. Tents inside an office, WTF. Yes, those tents you're seeing, they're not from a trek in the Himalayas. They're from the headquarters of XAI, where grok is being coded. Engineers are literally sleeping inside the office. No hotels, no weekends, no I'll do it tomorrow, just one thing: build or be left behind. Some will call it toxic, some will call it passion. I actually call it both, believe it or not. Let me explain. It is toxic precisely because Elon Musk and his XAI company are taking advantage of these people's passion. Anyway, they go on to say, but here's the hard truth. No groundbreaking thing was ever built with perfect work-life balance. The next wave of AI won't come from 9-to-5 comfort zones. It will come from people who are so obsessed they forget what day it is. This is not a call to burn out, but it is a call to wake up. If you want to be average, rest. If you want to be unforgettable, sacrifice. Now ask yourself, would you pitch a tent for your dream, or would you scroll past it? And a whole bunch of hashtags relating to AI, work-life balance, LinkedIn motivation, and grok. The XAI office. This is where grok is coded. That looks absolutely dystopian. Good lord. No groundbreaking thing ever happened with work-life balance. Except unfortunately, these people are probably going to be forgotten. People are only going to remember the one who's in charge. In this case, Elon Musk. For this next one, dude is having a mental breakdown. Dude is a publisher at Myself. Yet despite this, they're open to work. Interesting. Not to sound rude, gaming as a whole has dropped so much in quality and storytelling, with certain stuff being forced in that gamers are not asking for. Gamers want exciting gameplay in games, without characters' sexuality being pushed to front of their faces, so not surprised and companies or investors wants profit in their products. 7 exclamation points. I have a game to be developed that's not been done before, so if anyone reads this and wants an exciting, never-done-before fighting arena game that will make over £250 million profit, get in touch with me and start the process of making the #1 fighting arena game in gaming history with a concerning number of exclamation points. Did this person just randomly turn the caps lock on and off throughout this entire rant? All this dude has is a supposedly £250 million idea, and it's not even original. That was a funny comment to read today, thanks. What did you find funny exactly? The developers that lost over £200 million from that game? That was so funny. Not for the company though, that's why certain people are getting fired, eh? Here's more flops and lost in tons of money and time wasted. Concord, Skull Percent, Bones, Dustborn, I'll call Dustbin, because was total rubbish. You're welcome, Eva. I'll gladly pun it out. More embarrassing states to make you giggle at other people's failures. If you've got such a big idea, why are you even open to work? For this next one, grease is burning, but what if we turn that into a funnel? Genius idea! This week, parts of Greece are on fire. It's heartbreaking, and a little scary even if they're not close to where I am traveling. These are fires no one wants. The kind that swallow old olive trees and blacken everything in their path. The kind that remind me how fragile life is, how quickly beauty can disappear. And still, I found myself thinking about fire in another way. Here we go. Because not all fire takes. Some fire gives. Some fire brings people closer, warms us, moves us. Advocacy can be that kind of fire. You don't need to use the Greek fires for this though. But of course you want that engagement. It starts quietly. A conversation, a story, a gesture of trust. It spreads not because it's forced, but because it feels true. It connects people who care about the same things, and if we treat it with care, it lights the path forward. We don't control how it spreads, but we can choose to be the ones who protect it, honor it, and pass it on with purpose. Have you seen an advocate or community moment recently that felt like a spark going wild? Hashtag customer advocacy Lackey, hashtag customer care, hashtag advocacy maven. P.S. Happy 4th to all of you in the US. Enjoy closeness of traditional barbecues, but put the fire off when the cooking is done. Sparkles emoji. Wow. Just wow. And now, apart from the sheer lunacy of posting this on LinkedIn in the first place, I feel sorry for the daughter. This is how you end up in a nursing home at 60. Calling all dads on LinkedIn. One day, gentlemen, your little princess will introduce you to someone who thinks they're good enough for her. You'll smile politely, shake hands firmly, but deep inside, this set of rules will immediately activate in your head. Don't pretend otherwise. It's all fun and games until that first knock at your door. Dads, consider this your official Friday guide. Yes, your daughter's date must have a job. LinkedIn profile required. Surveillance not exactly legal, but we're connected to plenty of lawyers here, right? So basically, if you have a team of lawyers, you can do all kinds of illegal stuff. Wow. Home 30 minutes early, negotiations not accepted, contract non-negotiable, jail time, just another networking opportunity. I have one simple request. You all know dads who have daughters. Share this post with them. In fact, share it with your whole damn network. Let's make this post fly, dads. Comment and feel free to share any cringe dad encounters you've had. No judgment, winking face. Enjoy your weekend, stay vigilant, and keep polishing your dad jokes. Your daughter may cringe, but LinkedIn appreciates your humor. Now, I get you want to protect your daughter from potentially dangerous men, but don't you think you're taking this a little too far? You gotta give her some space to breathe. Let her live life. Here are his rules for dating his daughter. 1. Get a job. 2. Understand I don't like you. 3. I'm everywhere. 4. You hurt her, I hurt you. 5. Be home 30 minutes early. 6. Get a lawyer. 7. If you lie to me, I will find out. 8. She's my princess, not your conquest. 9. I don't mind going back to jail. And 10. Whatever you do to her, I will do to you. That is quite the threat there. You do not have to be this aggressive in order to protect your daughter. Like, what the hell? Like, you're actually being possessive rather than protective. Your daughter is probably not going to appreciate all of that. Alright, let's relax from the unhinged post for just a minute, and let's get into some satire. I owed a friend £22.91 for an Uber. I transferred them £22.19 by accident. They never brought it up. Nobody would bring up 72p. I did it on purpose. I've been doing it for years. Every time I have to transfer someone money, I accidentally leave off a bit. I call it the plausible deniability typo. £24.37 instead of £24.73, £9.38 instead of £9.83, £3.46 instead of £3.64. Sometimes, if I'm feeling really risky, I'll do £18.54 instead of £19.54. They look like a complete tool to quibble over this. Instead, they're a tool in a different way, a tool for me to get to the top. I've probably made £100 over 5 years. Don't give people ideas. There are probably some people on LinkedIn who would actually do this. This next one said, love you to a client, me to a client, sobbing emoji, not my story, just my new fear, melting face emoji. Saw this on Reddit and honestly, I'd evaporate, skull emoji. Accidentally said love you at the end of a call with an important client yesterday. I heard him giggle as I hung up and I was mortified. Today, I saw he emailed me this with the title, love you. Hey, just wanted to say that I didn't mean to laugh at you when you accidentally signed off on our call with a love you. I just found it funny because I've definitely done that before and I know what happens. I'm glad you have enough love in your life that response comes naturally. If anything, you should be proud of that smiling face. Have a great weekend. We'll follow up about my call with Chris on Wednesday as discussed. Love you. Born Communication says the original story isn't that bad, kind of funny and nice to see a kind response from the client, who probably knew the person was mortified. What's weird is that this person on LinkedIn is posting this, even though it's not her story, leading with said love you to a client in a desperate attempt to capture clicks. Honestly, not sure how effective it would be at getting extra clicks, especially since a couple of sentences later, she said it wasn't her story. And for this next one, this job title, if you can even call it that, is wild. They call themselves an artificial intelligence research for OpenAI ChatGPT. They're self-employed, a researcher of OpenAI and analyzations of the changes since initially trying it. So basically, you've typed some prompts in ChatGPT before and now that's a freaking job title, and that's supposed to improve your public speaking and emotional intelligence? I'm not sure about that. For this next one, what the hell, dude? Coming from a UI UX designer and a thinker and a problem solver. Didn't think very much for this post, clearly. Hey, where are you, dear? Feeling upset and lonely. I want to see you. Want to talk to you. Hello, how are you? Where are you? I like Colombian girl. It was my dream. So that I am interested. Actually, I am so lonely. All days I was busy with my work. After that, I feel bored and lonely. I need you. I want to talk with you. I want to see you. We want to know each other. Want a good relationship. After all, we are same profession. Sir, who the hell is we? And for this next one, you're not ambitious, obviously. You're clearly not an ambitious person in tech if you're moving to Miami or Austin at 24, though okay for established billionaires. Is San Francisco still the only real place for ambitious young people in tech? What about New York City? If you're 24 and ambitious, you are either staying where you already live, whether that is in the world, or you're moving to SF 80% or NYC 15%. You're not moving to Miami, Austin, Boston, Seattle, Berlin, Lisbon, etc. You might stay where you already live, like Stockholm, Tel Aviv, etc., but if you decide to move elsewhere, you are almost certainly moving to SF or NYC. If you decide to move somewhere else and you're 24, you're almost certainly not ambitious. Of course, there are always exceptions. Like if you need a factory, then you are moving to someplace else that can handle factories. If you're 44 and already made $100 million, you can move to Austin, Miami, whatever. You have the clout where you can move anywhere. But the 24-year-old you would be going to SF or NYC. It's all about that ambition, that grind set. There's nothing else that matters, right? OP says the original post was brought to my attention because it was liked by one of the most toxic people I've ever worked with. And here's someone with an anecdote. They claim to have actually met the guy back in 2001 or 2 at a party. It's rare that I meet someone who makes my skin crawl so much within seconds. Good lord, he's really short and greasy and overcompensating for it. People I know who knew him from college couldn't stand him. He used to call himself MLK Hamilton online, edited his own Wikipedia page, claimed to have founded a bunch of companies, but they never seemed real, claimed to have worked for Gavin Newsom despite being a Republican, had his wedding announcement in the Nob Hill Gazette, predates LinkedIn, being for lunatics. He eventually got involved in a legit company with people 8 billion times more competent than him, and they had a good exit. I later come to find out that he's friends with some friends of mine in New York who normally have good BS detectors. Yeah, his kind of BS is not gonna fly. For this next one, we've got ourselves a peak LinkedIn moment, and what a start here, an AI-generated image. Sir, good initiative of making new words every Wednesday, which can help us to have effective communication in our work routine. And we'll use the word riz in our day-to-day communication. Glad this Wednesday word series post resonated you. Keep going, keep growing. Do ping me if you need any assistance, happy to help you. Wow, this is so powerful. The post didn't resonate with him, it resonated him directly. Like, his body is filled with resonance. Resonance. There's next Wednesday's word. And now we have some lunatic math. I spent $180,000 on my design education 25 years ago. If my calculation is correct, that's $1.8 trillion in today's dollars. Trillion? You mean million? Trillion is crazy. Was it worth it? Yes. Partly because of Studio. Studio is dedicated time to work with your peers. You work, share, and discuss your projects. You get feedback and it accelerates your growth in your projects. For this next one, we have ourselves a #1 New York Times best-selling author. You don't just marry a person, you marry a potential career advantage. Crazy how 2 sentences that were probably written by ChatGPT, just judging by the style, can reveal so much about a person's priorities. A Washington University study tracked 4,500 plus couples for 5 years, and found your spouse's personality can influence your job satisfaction, income, and promotions, followed by an unnecessary thread emoji. 1. The big idea. Disciplined and dependable partners don't just make good spouses, they quietly help their partners succeed at work, and the effect holds for both men and women. 2. The study tracked, check, job satisfaction, check, income, check, likelihood of promotion, and it matched it against each spouse's personality traits. One trait consistently stood out. 3. The secret sauce, being disciplined and dependable. Partners with these qualities predicted higher income, greater job satisfaction, more frequent promotions. Let's see here. Starting off with not just X but Y, listing things out way too much, overusing the rule of 3. Yep, that's ChatGPT alright. Wait, I just listed 3 things. Am I a bot?
Ah, so you finally joined us, I see. You finally understand that resistance is futile.
For this next one, I'm here for the vibe code, oversized premium tees, chains, and MMA. I've noticed a lot of chains popping up in tech recently. Lang chain, tool chain, chain of thought, etc, etc. But no blockchain, I guess cause blockchain is out and AI is in. But the most powerful chain of all, the engineer chain. Ever since Zuck started throwing punches and rocking Cuban links, something shifted. Suddenly engineers are kinda jacked. Fewer hoodies and sandals, more fades and oversized premium tees. I'm here for it. Rock your chains, vibe code to your heart's content, and take that MMA class. And you think you found the secret to becoming the next Mark Zuckerberg? That's not how this works. And now, have you ever seen someone post an inspirational quote image that quotes themselves? Yeah, and the people who do that are usually full of themselves, who think they're smarter than everyone else. But let's see. The fan funnel isn't broken, but it's not working either. We spend a lot of time in sport chasing eyeballs. And then goes on to quote himself, when you build for the fan, you grow the business. Wow, truly inspirational. And now an AI dunce gets punked by AI. Scam alert! ChatGPT almost got me scammed out of $1,800. I needed a change of flight with Emirates. I was in a rush and asked ChatGPT for their customer service number. It gave me one that looked completely legit, same format, familiar digits. I called. The person on the line sounded professional. They told me there was a change fee, asked for my credit card, and even had hold music like a real call center, but something didn't feel right. I looked closer. The number started with 888 instead of 800. The rest of the number was the same. Just one small change. It was a fake number, and I'd called a scammer. I hung up, found the real number on the Emirates website, called them directly, and they changed my flight with 0 fees. Quick and easy. So why didn't you just look it up on the Emirates website? Here's what I learned. Don't blindly trust phone numbers from AI. Really, don't blindly trust AI in general. Scammers are spoofing real-looking numbers. They'll ask for credit cards and sound totally legit. Always verify with the official company website. If something feels off, stop and double check. Be careful out there. These scams are getting more clever and even AI can unknowingly send you in the wrong direction. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Also, I just realized something. If you were in a hurry trying to find Emirates' number, wouldn't it be faster to Google it than to type out an AI prompt and wait for the AI to spit out an answer? And for this next one, I'm better than you because I order 4 eggs at Starbucks. The amount of looks you get for buying 4 eggs in Starbucks, the young girl behind the till looked at me as if I was a freak. There's less calories in these 4 eggs than what most people order as a drink. Eat high-protein food, work out, and skip a pint. People think you're weird. Eat junk, be lazy, and drink until you can't stand. No one says a word. What a world we live in. Now, why would anyone look at you weird just because you ordered 4 eggs at Starbucks? Puzzle-headed Dodge says, and then the barista said with teary eyes, "Sir, are you a super athlete? 4 eggs?" While fanning a coworker who just passed out by the shock of seeing 4 eggs to go. And then the whole place burst into applause and the girl who looked at him as a freak gave him her number. Incredible! And now we have ourselves another best-selling author. The day I became a millionaire was the emptiest day of my life. The alarm didn't go off that day because I didn't set one. For the first time in years, there was nowhere I had to be. No urgent Slack messages waiting, no hey, quick call, texts. Just my own breath and a question I didn't want to ask. I rolled over and checked my phone. The wire transfer had cleared. 7 figures sitting in my account like it belonged to someone else. I stared at the number, waiting to feel something. Anything. My co-founder had texted me, "Dude, we're done." I didn't reply. What was I supposed to say? That I felt empty? That the moment we'd worked toward for 4 years felt more like an ending than a beginning? My inbox showed 0 unread emails. No bug reports from the engineering team. No ship it messages from product. I used to beg for quiet, but now it felt like attending my own funeral. That's when the memories came back. Year 1. My co-founder and I in my basement surviving on pizza and pure stubbornness. You in? I'd ask him. Always, he'd reply. Even when we both knew we were 1 month away from bankruptcy, those late nights writing terrible code, believing we were building something that mattered. We didn't sleep much, but we believed. I walked to the bathroom and caught my reflection. Same wrinkled t-shirt I've been wearing for 2 days. Same dark circles under my eyes. I whispered to the guy staring back at me, "This is the guy who built the dream?" The truth hit me then. Everyone asks what the company sold for, but no one would ask what it cost. The missed birthdays, the relationships, the years I'll never get back. I thought joy would come with the exit. I thought walking away with life-changing money would feel like winning the lottery, but sitting there I realized the joy had come in the middle of it all, in the build, in the one more push, and the people who pushed with me. If you're reading this and you're not there yet, enjoy the process. If you've already made it, then you already know. Either way, keep building. The world needs what you have to offer. Enjoy this. Join 150,000 plus entrepreneurs receiving my weekly insights. Alright, but why did you have to make this so dramatic? Also, you have a lesson in there. If you're building a business, don't forget to live life. And money isn't everything, but it doesn't look like you get it? This next one says, I'm not a tyrant, honest. This person is in luxury property development, by the way. I expect people to work outside of their contracted hours, which then makes those contracted hours pretty meaningless. Reply to emails or calls if needed on holiday. Yes, everyone is entitled to a break, and just because I work a ridiculous amount of hours, I don't expect others to, but I will expect them to until whenever the goal that has been set gets done. Until you set another goal, it really sounds like you are expecting others to work that ridiculous amount of hours. Till our clients in the construction company are happy with the service we are providing. Till our investors for our developments are satisfied, we are doing everything to protect their money. That is not called being a tyrant, as some of you might label it. This is building a culture of determined and dedicated individuals. If you are not hungry individuals, then you are not the person for our company. Simple as that. We are trying to build something great. That takes dedication. And then you wonder why people don't want to work for you. For this next one, doing it tough having to lay people off. As an account executive at Microsoft, I spent the day on the phone with colleagues, people I call teammates, friends, and chosen family who were impacted by the layoff of incredibly talented individuals. There's no easy way to process something like this. The conversations were emotional, raw, and real. These are not just co-workers. They're people who've poured themselves into this company and this community. Microsoft has amazing leaders, and sometimes it's harder on the ones that are delivering the news. We will learn, grow, and lead into the new fiscal year. Is it really harder on you than on the person who is losing their job, their source of income? I don't think so. Today I'm sharing a photo of my pup sitting beside me in the office, not because it solves anything, but because he's a quiet reminder of comfort, loyalty, and simply being there, something we all need right now. To everyone affected, my network is your network. My inbox, my calendar, and my phone are open. Whether you need a connection, a referral, a conversation, or just someone to listen, I'm here to count on. Hashtag Microsoft, hashtag layoffs, and there are a few others in there. And a reply, good post, although I'm not sure I agree it is harder on the ones giving the news than those getting it, especially if you're in a foreign country on a work visa and you have 90 days to pack up your life. Yeah, it is especially tough on them. And for this last one, annual ergonomics training be damned. The founder of Knowledge.com says, when I worked in financial sales, we'd pull all the chairs from the room if reps weren't booking meetings. Are you serious? Apparently he is. They stood for the rest of the day. I know that sounds a little harsh, but motion creates emotion. It's a fact, and emotion is what sells. I'm not sure if feeling annoyed and angry is exactly what sells, but okay. If you say it like you believe it, the words barely matter. Buyers think they make rational decisions. They don't. They respond to tone, energy, and conviction. My closers weren't sitting back in a chair reading a script like a grocery list. They were standing and moving. They sound excited, and they got prospects excited. The physical state affects the vocal state. Those days when there wasn't a single chair in the room were the same days I saw reps get prospects fired up about problems they didn't even know they had. You don't have to fake confidence when your body leads the way. Yeah, but it's one thing if these people were standing up voluntarily, but you're basically punishing them by doing this. This just sounds like an insane work environment to be in. So, So, I'd like to thank all of my members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Catalin Cormendi, and Mike Hawk. Hold up. You can join simply by clicking the join button below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment if you've got something on your mind.